Could use another drink, Shaft. How about you?
Oh, hell yeah, I can use 2 or 3 more. Especially if I gotta listen to another story about how fast Falzaren can swim.
Well, mayhaps he could tell us instead about what happened last time on the Incorrigible party.
Leaving Alamar's office, Shaft stays behind to spy on the Elder Elf, witnessing the activation of a secret passageway and quietly following him down, discovering what lays beneath. All while Falzaren does some sleuthing of his own, eavesdropping on a private conversation between Shikara and Isabella Good. Mia, apparently the only party member eager to actually find a solution for the Kraken problem, immediately heads for the Keep's library.
It appears Falzaren has bought the next round and is headed this way.
And the adventure continues. I'll make my way down the hallway and back out into the main hall. I assume the music's still playing and people are dancing and everything seems to be as normal.
Okay, you're on the second floor, right?
I wanted to... Yeah, I guess really. There's a balcony, I think you said.
There was, yes. So as you step out of Alamar's office, the invisibility gone.
Okay. And then I will try to finagle my way through the hall there to see if I can find a pathway to that balcony.
And you absolutely do. You're just kind of down, moving southward down this long hallway. And you take a left at a very similar... You come to like a same T-junction in which you had passed through on the first floor.
Okay.
You do see some people across on the other side of this balcony. Now you're kind of looking down on the ballroom, right? And yeah, the music is still playing. There's still people dancing now. It's not quite as... the dancing isn't quite as structured anymore. It's very informal. People are just kind of, enjoying themselves. They're doing whatever type of dance that they would do in any other place that they would want to dance, right? And across the hall, you see the other section of this balcony there. There are just more people enjoying themselves.
Okay. So I'm going to look around. Do I see Shikara or Falzaren or Mia down on the floor up on the balcony?
You don't.
So I'm going to walk over to the balcony, sort of look down over the crowd. Do I see Isabella or the, what do you call them, elders?
You see Gundar, Sybil, and Keek have all taken their place back at their table. And now you do see people kind of around them and engaging them in conversation as they sit there drinking and enjoying some food. But those are the only 3 elders that you see.
Okay, I'm going to walk around the balcony up at the top and go over to the tables on the other side, and they're just random people about.
Yeah, they're just kind of engaged in their own conversations. You overhear them, speaking about some of their studies, and a few people, hitting on each other. And we're fairly well into the night now, as some of these events have transpired, and people are getting a little loose.
Okay, I'm going to find somebody that has a drink, a waiter again, and of course take 2, and go sit at one of the tables and find myself, find a attractive looking lady that might be sitting at one of the tables, and go up and if she's alone, or do I see something like that?
Yeah, you see a woman sitting at a table alone. She's just finishing off a drink of her own.
And I'm gonna lay the second drink down and hop up on the chair. And how you doing? Nice party, eh?
How are you doing?
I'm always fantastic. Just checking the place out. Fancy a dance?
Of course. You look quite rugged. Do you think you can move in that armor?
Oh, baby, I can move. Let's swig down the drink, reach my hand out, and say, let's go cut a rug.
And you want to take her down to the dance floor?
Yes.
So she grabs your hand, and she kind of takes charge, and she leads you down. See, in the corner of this hallway, there's a door, and she opens it, and it opens up into a spiral staircase that leads down to the first floor. She brings you down, back, and around through the main entrance in which the 4 of you had originally entered the ballroom and takes you to the dance floor.
Okay, so I'm gonna dance around with her. Of course, I'm only 2 feet 7 inches tall, so I'll be reaching up, sort of dancing around it. And the idea here is I'm going to be checking out the people. I'm going to try to move myself up towards more where the elders are sitting. And I'm not too worried about being seen at this point. And I'll glance up at her every once in a while and give her a wink. And just do some dancing until I see the rest of the party come back into the ballroom.
All right. Falzaren, what is your next course of action?
So I just make it back into this stall, and I'm kind of panting and just like shaking from the adrenaline and kind of terror that is just coursing through my body. I don't see Shaft around, obviously. His invisibility would have worn off, so he'd be right beside me if he were in the stall.
Yes, correct. He is not in the stall with you.
Okay. So I'm going to leave this stall and pull my hood up over top of my head to try and keep myself from being recognized. And I'm just going to walk down through this hallway that's adjacent to the main ballroom and make my way to the front door and leave the building.
Easily done as you exit through this raised portcullis, the way the four of you originally entered. You get out onto the grounds of the keep, and you know that this keep is surrounded by this 30-foot wall. And on its eastern and northern edges of this wall, it also serves as the perimeter of the city itself. It kind of doubles as that, as the keep itself is nestled in the northwestern corner of Heraklion itself. And you're able to kind of find a quiet area where it doesn't look like there's anybody around.
Yeah, so I'm going to wander off away from the doorways and find somewhere where I think no one is going to wander up and overhear me. And I'm going to activate the stone in my chest to contact Isabella.
And a quiet, that buzzing in your head that it's been a while since you've heard or felt.
It sure has.
It buzzes once, a second time, and on the third time it buzzes. Isabella answers. Oh, hello, Mr. Abs.
Isabella, I'm sorry it's been so long. I suppose I should have got in touch with you sooner than now, but now's as good a time as ever, I suppose.
Yes, it has been quite some time. Tell me, what have you been doing?
Well, Isabella, I wanted to touch base about the task you set out for me to do. We were able to find your sister, and it seems like she was controlling this big storm that the locals have been dealing with for some time now off of the coast. And we tracked her out to the center of this storm, and I believe we discovered what was her lair. And we fought her in a harrowing battle within her lair that almost took the lives of all of us.
My word.
One of our companions tragically was lost in the fight, but we put up a good fight, and I have reason to believe that she may be dead. However, if I'm being honest, I did not see a final blow being dealt to her. So I cannot say for certain, but the storm has dissipated, which I think is a good sign. And also, this man who likes to... he's a bit of an attention seeker and likes to take credit for things that he isn't necessarily responsible for. He somehow found her arm and was claiming that he has slayed Erica, which I know I'm quite sure is not the case. I think likely her arm just washed up on shore. But all of this together makes me confident that she perished when her lair collapsed just as we were escaping.
Well, if she is dead, then this character you speak of has the proof that you need, I'm afraid. Perhaps I should be seeking him out and offering him this power.
She was a very, very powerful opponent, and to the best of my knowledge, this Tolstoff, he is an imposter who has very little real talent or battle prowess of his own. Actually, he's since been murdered by someone. I don't know much about what led to that, but I do not suspect that he was responsible for doing anything to Erica. I think the last I saw her, she looked like she was barely clinging on to life, and then the next thing we knew, her lair was collapsing and we escaped just narrowly, and I suspect she was crushed in the collapse of her lair, and her arm likely washed up to shore, and that's how this Tolstoff came across it. But that's the most that I know.
So what do you propose we do now? You claim she may be dead, most likely, granted, but do you expect me to hand over what I offered you in exchange for this deed? What is it you seek now? I'm afraid I'm in quite a perplexing position.
Part of the reason I'm contacting you now, Erica, and why I am contacting you the way that I am contacting you is because there have been more revelations, and I'm not certain how important Erica is in light of new events that have arisen, and I think we need to discuss those events, and then we can decide what we do when it comes to our deal with Erica. I think there's more pressing matters that, to be frank, whether we resolve this bargain that we have now or later isn't of the most importance to me right now. I think there's danger that needs to be dealt with, which is more important than you or I holding up our end of this bargain. This beast that's been unleashed, I think you're aware of it, Isabella, and I'll be honest, I've seen you recently. I don't think that you saw me, but I am at this dinner party that you are also at, and I wanted to contact you via this magic that we share so that we could speak in private, but I am here, and I see that you're with the elders, seated at this table, and some of my companions have come to warn of this kraken, which I think may have an association with Erica. I think that is the most pressing thing that we face right now.
My, I must say I'm quite insulted. You were not confident enough to speak to me in person.
Well, it wasn't a matter of confidence. I just wanted to make sure that we could speak privately because I don't know who to trust. I'm not sure that all of the elders are trustworthy, and I don't want the wrong person overhearing this conversation.
That certainly makes sense. But this Kraken deal, I'm afraid, I'm not concerned about. I mean, why? I have nothing to do with it. That's what Erica was up to. I mean, that's her own business. The reasons I want her out of the coven are not because of this worship of some monster.
Well, don't you appreciate that this... I mean, it's a juvenile at the moment, and I've already seen some of the damage it can unleash. If it's allowed to grow unchecked, it could wreak havoc on this land, and that could threaten myself and you as well. Don't you think that we have a responsibility to try and get rid of this thing before it grows stronger and more powerful? And I don't think it's going to... It hates any form of civilization of humankind. It's going to wreak havoc on the land of Aspara if we don't do something.
Well, quite frankly, it and I share a few things in common. But do you not think if I felt this truly were a threat that I hadn't safeguarded myself? So there's much more than you realize going on, Falzaren.
Well, that may be, Isabella, and I guess to answer your question about what we do next, if you don't feel confident that my end of the bargain has been upheld and that there's adequate proof, I understand, and I'm I'm not in a position to push the matter, but I would appeal to you that if you're able to offer any aid, I really think this Kraken is an existential threat that needs to be dealt with. And if you have any knowledge of how we can deal with this, I would urge you to share it with us so that we can deal with this threat, and then I can deal with Erica if need be, if she has not yet been killed.
Well, it seems that I really have no need for you anymore. As much as it pains me to say it, Mr. Abbs, I'm not sure you are the one that should be handling this existential crisis, as you say. And like I mentioned, there's much more going on here, with many more parties involved that you may have not even been aware of or spoken to, or I'm not sure that I need to share anything with you.
Well, Isabella, I have a question for you. What do you know of the Deep Scions?
I know of them. I know what they are. I know how they come about. And with this Kraken business, it only makes sense that the two should coincide.
Right. Well, it's my understanding that it looks like you have or intend to form some sort of allegiance or association with the elders here. Is that right?
I am a newly appointed elder myself, actually.
I see. Well, I have reason to be suspicious that there may be Deep Scions among the elders themselves. In which case, this is a problem that I think you need to deal with. I don't think you can just ignore this, Isabella.
Oh, no, don't get me wrong. I'm not ignoring anything. It is this avenue in which you expect me to pursue at your whim that I refuse to abide.
Well, that's your choice, Isabella. I mean, I would say that Heraklion potentially could be devastated by this Kraken, and if you are in fact an elder, that would lead me to believe that you would have a vested interest in protecting Heraklion. That is part of why I feel a need to deal with this Kraken, is because Heraklion is my home. I cannot just stand by and watch it be destroyed by this beast. But if you aren't interested in helping, I can't force you to.
Well, I certainly appreciate your need and want to protect what is yours, as I am not unfamiliar with such intentions. But yes, I may have a vested interest in Heraklion and maybe some particular people there within. And I do agree, something must be done. But like I said, I don't believe you are the one to do it, as I'm afraid this fairly simple task of getting rid of my sister, you failed.
I don't think we have definitive proof one way or the other, unless you have some means that I am not aware of to know whether she is alive or dead. Neither of us can be certain. And
Do you think me a fool, Mr. Adams? Do
No,
you
I
truly
don't.
believe that I would not be able to sense a vacancy in the power of the three? The void in the coven would ache and pull at my ancient being. Perhaps I was foolhardy and blinded by carnal desire in offering you a seat at my table.
I had my suspicions, Isabella, but I wasn't going to accuse you. I was hoping you
no,
might...
you instead choose to deceive and skirt around it.
I was hoping that you might tell me if you had a way of... I mean, it's you who has deceived me if you have skirted around the fact that you know whether she is currently alive or dead.
Well, I am about to initiate you into the coven. Surely some type of test of loyalty or truthfulness I needed to employ. You expect me to just hand over power?
Have I not told you all that I know? I have been honest with you. I could have said that I was certain she was dead, which I am not.
You could have, yes. But then again, you have given me this yes and no answer that does me nothing. And then you come to me saying, no, let us put our quarrel on hold. No need to deal with my failure. In fact, you should divert your attention to something much grander. This is what you are saying to me, is it not?
Why don't you tell me, is Erica dead?
I can assure you that she is not.
I see. I assume she is certainly not her former robust and powerful self, because we dealt some significant blows to her, and she's missing an arm, as far as I'm aware.
I will admit, yes, the destruction of the storm certainly points to that being true. You are correct.
So it's not as though I've done nothing, Isabella.
Oh, something was done.
I suspect that she is more powerful than you've been letting on. Based on the battle that I fought against her, she is not a insignificant foe. So,
well, perhaps you were less capable than you had let on.
From what I experienced, she was, and perhaps still is, a quite capable opponent. And I think that for whatever reason you wanted me to deal with her, I, along with my companions, dealt a significant blow to her strength and her resources. And while yes, she may not be dead, she is certainly in a much less advantageous situation than she had been before I was involved in this. I think there's something to be said for that.
So then again I ask you, what do you expect of me now in regards to our deal? As that is all that I am truly concerned with at the present.
That's your prerogative, Isabella, and I while I may not agree with all of your priorities, it's not my place to say. I would remind you, not that many days have passed since we struck this bargain, and I have already made significant steps towards fulfilling my end of the deal.
It is true that I did not give you a time frame in which to succeed at this task. I will admit that, at least.
It has been less than 2 weeks.
Yes, but a lot can happen in 14 days. I mean, look at this. An entire kraken was birthed. And had you not achieved it sooner, then perhaps that could have been prevented as well.
I suspect she's involved with this kraken, but she wasn't the one who summoned it. So something deeper is going on with that. Now, I have not said that I'm abandoning my side of the bargain. I can't control your decision here, Isabella, but I think I've made ample attempts to work towards upholding my side of the bargain so far. And whatever Erica's involvement with this kraken, I think she needs to be dealt with as well.
Can I ask you one last thing? Say I do nothing to you. I do not punish you in any way whatsoever. And you then proceed to take on my sister once more and severely wound her. Say she loses the other arm. And you come back to me in another 2 weeks and say, well, she is very wounded once again. What would you have me do in that situation? Would I strike you down? Would I again let this grievance pass? You again, as I say, you put me in a very awkward position. I really, truly like you, Falzaren, but you're not sure you understand the power in which you are vying for here. A seat in this coven. Open the world to you, beyond your imagination.
Well, Isabella, I don't know where all of your interests lie, and I can't make that decision for you. All I can tell you is that I have not tried to circumvent my side of the bargain. I have, if anything, I've lost a companion in my efforts to try and hold up my side of the bargain already, and have dragged several others through this ordeal, chasing Erica, and almost lost them and my own life as well. So the decision is yours. What do you see fit?
As I said, I do like you, Falzaren, and I certainly have a soft spot for you. I believe a second chance could be somewhere in my heart. But I will tell you this, there's certainly others in which I have enlisted and can enlist, and should they succeed before you, I believe then that would be you running out of those chances. And I'm afraid, because of your head start this 2 weeks, not much time, you say, but the extent of my life, it is long, and even in that context, 2 weeks, a lot can happen. So I think I'm going to have to give these other parties a bit of a head start. You understand, I must give them some type of leg up. Do you understand?
It is not for me to decide, Isabella. I have laid out the facts, I've been honest with you, and I think I have already done a significant service to your cause.
Yes. Efforts. I mean, if intent was success, then success would be easy. I will leave you with this. You are now on a timetable. 2 weeks. 2 weeks more, perhaps. I'd say that's more than fair. I do hope you succeed, Falzaren.
As do I, Isabella. I think while I am fully committed to holding up my side of the bargain, I think this is one piece of a bigger puzzle that needs to be dealt with. Whether you're willing to share more information than you know or not with me, that is also your own prerogative. However, I would ask, who is it that you intend to set up against me in this sort of competition for my seat in the coven? I would know who it is that might be potentially getting in my way.
Oh, what would be the fun of that?
I see. That's how you want it to be, Isabella?
I will say, when you see them, I'm sure you will know that they are your enemy. And well, if you fail to figure that out, then I'm afraid you've already lost.
I see. Now, one last thing. My friend, I don't know if that's the right term to call her in our current situation, but companion I'm traveling with, Shikara. You have met and talked with her, is that right?
Well, as you say, yes, she and your friend Mia spoke to the elders about the Kraken.
Yes. Now, what did you tell Shikara, and what did she say to you? Anything of significance that you think I should know?
Well, here we are with more demands. She and I spoke briefly, yes. We spoke about Erica, and we spoke about you.
Yes, she has a lot of suspicions and mistrust for me because of the fact that my good friend Brendel turned out to be a traitor.
My. He seemed like such a sweet man when I met him.
He was. It took me by surprise, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around how this could be possible. But Shikara seems bent and determined on... She thinks that I could be a deep scion, which is preposterous.
Well, surely I would be very surprised if that were to be true, but she confided as much in me, and I said the same to her.
Do you know why she might think that that's the case? What is it that's driving her to believe this?
I'm afraid I haven't the slightest clue.
Well, I guess that's something I will also have to deal with.
Yes, seems your plate is rather full. Are you sure you want to continue our bargain? I could end it for you right now.
I'm more than capable of holding up my end of the bargain, Isabella. Don't you worry.
Well, I'm happy to hear it, Mr. Adams. Now, will you be enjoying the rest of the evening and the festivities?
Yes, I plan on coming back to the dinner party, and I may cross paths with you and see you tonight as well.
Perhaps.
All right. Well, it has been good talking to you, Isabella.
Goodbye, Falzaren.
Goodbye.
And this connection ceases. And as soon as it does, the amulet in your chest, in which you're using to communicate, it begins to glow green. The skin around it begins to tingle, then feel like pinpricks, and then feel like something is stabbing into your chest. And the glow dims, and then fades out, and your hit point maximum is reduced by 1.
What? Preposterous. All right, so I'm going to go back into the back where I came from, and I want to check the stall to see if Shaft has returned there.
He is not.
Okay. So then I'm going to go out into the main ballroom, the large hall there where everyone's dancing, and take a quick scan around to see if I see any of the party.
You see Shaft on the dance floor with a lovely young lady, drink in hand, kind of spinning, giving her a twirl, near where the elders' table is, which you see Gundar, Keek, and Sybil sitting at.
Okay.
All right, let's go back to Shikara and Mia. Shikara.
Mm-hmm.
You were leaving Geneva's office.
And before I shut the door all the way, I'm going to open it back up and stick my head in and say,
Do you know of any way I could contact someone on the mainland?
Oh, well, why, yes. A simple sending spell would do it.
Would I be able to purchase one from you?
Oh, well, we don't generally do that sort of thing here in Heracleon. I could certainly create one for you. That would be not a problem.
And how would that work?
Well, I just need a few hours. I can scratch one out for you.
Would it be possible for anyone but the intended to know what the message says?
Well, it contacts the intended target directly.
I would much appreciate it if you could do that for me. I urgently need to get a message to someone.
Of course. I do hope your friend finds it well.
Thank you.
and then I'll shut the door and I will think. I have no idea where Shaft and Falzaren are. Probably don't want to confront Falzaren right now anyway. And I think Mia said she was going to the library, so I'll head there.
Book buddies.
So coming down so you come down the hallway from the elder studies, and you hit this T, and you have the choice. I mean, so the hallway runs down, basically it circumnavigates the ballroom, or you can cross through the ballroom. You're not entirely sure what is on the east side of the keep. All you know is the library is somewhere over there. I will say in the ballroom you have seen on the east side of the wall there were two doors, and you mostly saw some of the waiters, like in the people serving the drinks and stuff, coming in and out of them. No guests appeared to be going through those doors at all.
But if I don't go through the ballroom, I'm just going down more empty hallways that I don't know where they go?
Yeah. But again, they from what you've seen and what you can see in this kind of T that you're sending at, you know that the hallways, at least on the western side, they run around the perimeter of the ballroom.
I will not go through the ballroom, and I'll just, because I don't want to see anybody right now.
Okay. And as you fall down, you kind of pass the entrance to the ballroom itself and the open portcullis that you had entered into the keep. And you continue to the end of it, where there is a door immediately in front of you, and it leads to a spiral staircase to go to a second level. And then another long hallway that runs north. And there are a number of doors on either side of this hallway. 2 on the east, and it looks like 3 on the west.
Any of them have signs on them?
They do not.
So I'm thinking the library's probably over here somewhere, but I don't know exactly where. It could be behind any one of these doors.
Yes.
I guess I'll just go start opening doors, looking in.
The first one, the closest one to you on the left side of this hallway, it looks like it's open to some type of storage room. You see there are 2 other doors that lead in and out of it as well. Again, you kind of see like a waiter in there refilling drinks, from caskets of wine and that kind of thing. It doesn't really pay you any mind. I mean, he notices you open the door, but doesn't really say anything to you. Just gives you a nod as you're most likely a guest.
Does he have an empty glass of wine? Or a full glass of wine?
He is filling them up. Absolutely. He certainly offers you one.
Yeah. May I? And I'll grab one and down it and give it back to him. Thank you. And I'll continue on.
The next door, which would be on the right side, you open it up, and it does open into this these stacks of books, this large room, nearly as large as the ballroom, maybe a little bigger, actually. And you have found the library.
Yay! I'll walk around, see if I can see Mia, and kind of look at books as I pass, too.
So Mia, in this library, there's a large, huge fireplace on the easternmost wall. Many, comfortable-looking chairs seated around it where you could grab a book and maybe read there and that kind of thing. There are 2 window nooks, like bay windows, and with pillows and made to look comfortable, where you could sit and read. So where are you in here, Mia? What are you doing in here?
I'm looking for deep scion stuff and kraken stuff. Basically, same old.
And Shikara, you spot Mia perusing some of these shelves. She appears to be the only one in here currently. Everyone's probably more interested in the party than
there's
studying.
a party in the ballroom, and then there's an armored chick just browsing books by herself.
Just running through books.
I will walk up to Mia.
Have you found anything interesting? Or helpful?
I mean, that's a good question, Leland. I've been in here for a while. If she talked to Geneva that whole time.
Only a few, maybe half an hour-ish.
So I found nothing, and I have
You found some titles. Again, this is obviously nowhere near the size of the Knowledge Centers. The Knowledge Center itself was in a building much similarly sized to this entire keep. That's how many books.
Oh yeah.
Were in that Knowledge Center. So there's very few comparatively here. You certainly are able to find some of the same volumes in which you looked and were found in the library. There's really no one here to help you or guide you to any areas, but you find some of the same information which you got at the Knowledge Center, just with this brief, relatively amount of time perusing some of these shelves.
Yeah, where's the magic librarian when you need them?
Off at the party, I assume.
Yeah. Yeah, Shikara, I feel like it's futile. There's not as many books, obviously, as the other library, but I have no idea how they're organized. It's so hard to find anything. There's no one here helping me. We need to figure out how to tell when someone's a deep scion. I really don't like that Almar guy. He's a deep scion.
I believe your feelings are hurt.
No. Never.
I too do not care for Alamar, but I am not ready yet to label him a deep scion.
I was just kidding. It's getting late. I'm tired.
We have had a long day.
Yeah, this has been the longest day. So yeah, I don't know how you want to go about this, Leland, but I'm willing to just keep trying to look for books about Krakens, Deep Scion.
Me too. I'll start looking through books too.
I wouldn't mind looking into Nyogi again, or if I come across anything that mentions that, or the tattoos of the Nyogi, mind control, that kind of stuff.
Okay. Just
because I'm in here.
Sure. You can spend as much time as you'd like. I would say it's very apparent to both of your characters that it would seem very peculiar that this library here would have any other knowledge that you wouldn't be able to find in the Knowledge Center. But that isn't to say that very potentially, just because of its size of the knowledge center, that a more concentrated area in which you now find yourselves in, you may be able to uncover something additional to what you've already learned. So it's up to your characters. If you want to spend another amount of time in here, you absolutely can.
Yeah, I think Shikara is going to be looking through books, but not really absorbing any information.
Would she look distracted to Mia?
She's definitely looking like she's looking through the book, but she's definitely not getting anything from it.
She's just looking at the pictures like a kid and just keeps flipping, and you can tell they're not reading.
Yeah.
Shikara, what's wrong?
I have much on my mind. Much to think about.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you've been telling me. I'm here if you want to talk about it.
Not yet. I have more I need to figure out first, for myself.
Okay. Well, I'm not really getting anywhere with these books, and I feel like... Leland, didn't we, decide that maybe there was, obvious gaps in the...
Yes, yeah. It seems there are a few
That's what I'm
areas of yes. It's very clear that a few types of magic, even some types of beings, are very clearly omitted from what you can find in Heraklion itself.
Okay, so I'll just tell Shikar, I just feel like there was stuff missing from the knowledge center. You felt it too, right?
Yes.
Remember? Yeah,
yes.
In a magical land with all this magical stuff, I mean, maybe there's a secret passage in here somewhere, or a secret library, or, you pull a book and the bookcase turns around and the wall opens up and all that kind of thing.
If we had Falzaren's wand of secrets, it would be most helpful right now.
I mean, sure, but who wants to deal with that hot mess? I can cast detect magic. I mean, it'll take me a couple minutes, but if there's any,
Do you believe Falzaren to be trustworthy?
I really don't know. Isabella seemed like a nice lady, and I suppose people can be quite manipulative, so I don't know who to trust. In my zone of truth, I definitely felt confident that Falzaren was clueless to what you were accusing him of.
He may not be a deep scion. That does not make him on the side of right.
Oh, I definitely think his moral compass is not what he thinks it is.
People can be, like you said, manipulated.
Well, I'm thinking about detecting magic and walking around the library for a couple minutes. It only takes 10 minutes.
Let's give it a go. What do we have to lose?
That's what I thought. Everyone else is busy partying out there.
I shall keep watch for anybody that may interrupt us.
Okay, great. Thanks. And I start uttering the words and moving my hands all around. I've never cast this before, though. As a ritual, does that mean it still takes the spell slot, or is that...
No, so if you cast it as a ritual, which I assume it has the ritual tag on it, then you're able
does.
to, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. It takes you 10 minutes to cast it as opposed to its normal casting time, and then you're investing time instead of the spell slot is what it is.
Okay, so 10 minutes to cast, and then it lasts 10 minutes. So then, when I'm in the presence of magic within 30 feet of me, I sense it with a faint aura around it. It's blocked by a foot of stone, an inch of common metal, a thin sheet of lead, or 3 feet of wood or dirt. So, I mean, I feel like it's a gamble because Heraklion, they probably know how to hide magic, but it's worth a shot.
Sure, absolutely. And you peruse around this library. You just kind of work your way, I imagine you're just working your way around the perimeters. So, on either side, on the north and south of this library, there are rows of stacks that run perpendicular to the wall itself. So I imagine you kind of just going down to the end of the stack, hit the wall, back up, kind of, quickly, obviously, because you only have 10 minutes. But you do cover the ground, all the ground in this library. And sorry, I'll also say I didn't explain it. There is a second level to the library as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can certainly get up there.
Well, it's within 30 feet, so like I could just. Do you think those rows of books?
Sure,
are 30
if it was
feet?
something in the floor above you, it would certainly reach up to. I get what you're saying. Absolutely.
Oh no, I was talking about how I don't have to zigzag up and down rows. Like I could walk at the end of the row and look, instead of wasting my time covering all that ground.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. The only thing of magic that you detect here is the fireplace itself, as this fire is burning without any wood in it or fuel. But other than that, it just seems like there's just normal texts on regular shelves in this library.
Do I have time to go upstairs, or would I have to?
Sure, absolutely.
I mean, I
You can
guess
get
I
up
could go up there and cast it again. Shikara, I don't see anything down here.
There's nothing. No secret passage?
No magic. The fireplace is burning without logs, but I mean,
I suppose the secret passage might not be magical.
true.
I really thought there might be something.
Should I go upstairs? Have you been upstairs?
I have not yet.
I mean, I could cast it or walk around upstairs, and then if nothing happens, I don't know, we can start actually inspecting.
Pulling random books off the shelf?
Well, no, not like that. I guess just investigating the walls or something.
You go upstairs. I shall start investigating the walls down here.
Okay. Alright, so I go upstairs.
And exiting the library, you take a quick left and find a large spiral staircase that leads to the second story. And now on the second story, where there were these rooms, like the storage room in which Shikara you had peeked into, it's instead very open, and there are more tables up here, there are more guests with drinks enjoying themselves. And of course the music is playing, it's very upbeat and louder than it was before. And Mia, up on this second floor, still in the time of your first casting, ritual casting. Again, you make your way around the balcony, and you don't detect any magical items up here either.
Yeah, I don't really think there's gonna be a trapdoor up there or something.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense that something mechanical would be up here.
Yeah. But while I'm up there, I guess I can continue to just look for
some texts.
Yeah, for any texts on Krakens or Deep Scions or that type of thing.
Okay, so I would know that there's no possible way that there's any secret entrance, secret cubbies in the walls.
Well, there's about 5 feet of space in between each of these stacks running on the north and south walls. There definitely wouldn't be anything on the western wall, right? That's where the doors and the entrances into the library itself are. The only other place would be on the eastern wall, but again, that's the outer, especially peering out of these windows. That's the outer wall. That's basically the furthest wall of this keep. You've kind of hit the easternmost end of it now. So if there was something in a wall, it would most likely open up to the outside. Really, anything mechanical you would find would be probably something set in the ground itself. Possibly.
I was just going to say, I want to walk around, look at the floor, and kind of... Do I see a big X in the floor anywhere?
Yeah.
X marks the
yeah,
spot.
there it is right there. So easy. So the ground in here is kind of like a large, like paved, like huge paving stones, They're quite large. They're probably maybe 2 feet-ish in diameter, some of them. And they're kind of loosely laid. It's fairly level. The craftsmanship's pretty decent. You can go ahead and roll an investigation check.
Okay.
Now, before you do that, though, I will say, if you want to devote some significant amount of time to looking around, you can do that instead. And then we can, probably jump back to Falsey and Shaft, obviously. But that taking more time, you would very possibly be more apt to find something, is what I'm really saying. So I'll let you sacrifice some time for a more thorough search, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because of what...
Especially the size of the place, too.
What was said to me.
Well, because both of our intelligences aren't the highest either.
Hey, speak for yourself.
Well, I have a +1 only.
So do I, but...
Okay, exactly.
But I did roll an 18 plus 4 is 21.
Oh, wow. 18 plus 4 is 22.
2.
Is there a specific place you'd like to start your search for that roll?
I'm going to pick the northeast corner and just work my way across the room.
Okay.
I can see her doing this, yeah? Because I'm up on like a balcony, like mezzanine type.
You see her walking up to this corner, absolutely, as you're in the stacks yourselves picking.
Yeah, I'm just saying,
picking
like,
books.
the upper layer of the library is around the edges. I don't know if that was...
It is, but she's starting underneath the second story, right? Basically, right? But you do see her moving towards it, and as she kind of disappears under the ledge of this the second story here.
Okay.
And in this corner itself, again, it's the same large paving stones. Some of them have been smoothed down, maybe in an attempt to level it, but you don't find, like, none of them are loose. They're very secure in the grout, and the shelves themselves, again, they're quite large and long. They're about 20 feet long each, and especially with the amount of text and volumes that are on them, they're quite heavy. So it doesn't seem likely that they would shift. Like, some mechanism would have to be pretty significant to be able to shift a shelf of that size.
Okay. No, I'm just going to keep walking around looking, see if there's any scuff marks from things being dragged around and if there's any tiles that are loose.
Okay. How much time would the two of you like to devote here?
I would... How much did we spend on the main floor when I was down there?
You by yourself are probably in there for about 30 minutes collecting books, right, to look through. And then, another, probably the extent of the duration of your spell. So with the ritual and the spell's duration, another 20. So it's been nearly an hour of, since you spoke to the elders, basically.
In, like, the small amount of time that I've spent on the upper floor, have I seen anything interesting or close to topic at all?
Yeah, you found a few more texts on the Kraken.
Ones I haven't seen before?
Yeah, you do. Again, in the more narrow search, you find one about basically sea creatures. Kind of this encyclopedic knowledge of aquatic beasts and aberrations. Seems like it may be relevant.
Well, that's the thing, is I don't know whether Mia would want to waste her time if she's not finding anything. Because why would they keep what she wants to find public?
They being the elders?
Whoever the bad
what's
guys
going through
are,
Mia's
I don't know. Okay, I think if she's just finding...
I will say, as Mia is perusing these shelves and has spent quite a bit of time in them, there are sections of them that look like they're missing books, like books have been removed from them. Either maybe someone else is hoarding them or hiding them or reading them or just simply reading them themselves. You really are unsure. But there are definitely books that are somewhere other than the library.
Right. Okay, well, after finding, like, a stupid encyclopedia uselessness, I think after, like, whatever, 10, 15 more minutes up there while Shikara's downstairs investigating, I'm gonna give up and go downstairs.
To help her, or?
To meet back up with her and probably help her, but yeah. Did you find anything, Shikara?
Not yet, but I am still searching. Looking for loose tiles or something that looks like there's a groove in the floor where something has been moved. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if it would be in the library or if it would be somewhere else,
Geneva did mention something about there may be a secret library.
I was right. I knew it. But did she say it was in here?
She did not know.
Oh, dang it. The thing is, there's not really a lot of room in these little private corners, because, like, you would think they wouldn't put the secret passage right by the front door, you know what I mean?
Do you think, after we look here a little longer, who would be the most likely person to have a secret library?
That jerk Alamar, probably.
Do you think we could sneak into his office?
We're not the sneakiest, and I look down at my armor.
No.
Clank, clank.
We need to find Shaft.
Yeah, I don't think we'd be able to to sneak into his office. And to be honest, I bet it's him, but I just don't want to waste my time on that man anymore.
This may be a fruitless search, but I would be upset if we gave up on it without thoroughly checking everything.
Okay, where have you already checked? I'll go check somewhere else.
I started here. Mayhaps you start over there and we'll meet in the middle.
All right.
So spending another 10, 20 minutes here?
20, 30 minutes probably. Thorough check.
Let's go back to Falzaren and Shaft then. Shaft, as you are giving your lovely dance partner a twirl, you notice Falzaren enter the ballroom.
Okay, I'll sort of twirl around and I'll take my hand off her back a little bit and give him a little wave and smile and then keep on dancing with her.
When I meet his eye, I want to give him a jerk of my head, like, come over this way.
Okay. I'll start leading her over towards that way and go, so you never told me your name.
Oh, well, it's Natalie.
Natalie.
And what was yours?
Well, they call me Shaft. Nice to meet you, Natalie.
My, quite provocative.
Huh.
No. I like it.
Yes, you will. And, I'll, hook up with you later. I have to go, talk to a friend. Will you be up at the table where I met you before?
I'll be there.
I'll see you, Natalie. And I sort of spin her around and then back off, sort of in a fancy way, and then sort of stroll over to Falzaren and turn to him and go, "What's up?"
I think we need to get somewhere we can talk.
The party is it's getting pretty good now. Did you find something important?
There's a lot to tell, Shaft, I'll be honest. And things aren't looking great.
Where are the others?
I'm not sure. You haven't seen them?
Well, I did see them.
As did I, but I haven't seen them in the past little while.
Never any fun for Shaft. All right, let's go.
Sorry, buddy.
Can you believe what just happened?
Yeah, nothing shocks me anymore.
I really do like the intro and outro music.
Yeah, it's Josh Jarvis. You can contact him at jamesmercymusic@gmail.com.
And the ambient sounds from Tabletop Audio really draw me into the story.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Would you happen to know how to contact anybody from the party?
Yeah, I don't know why you'd want to, but yeah, they're all over the damn place. They're on Twitter at Incorrigible Par, Instagram and Facebook as Incorrigible Party, and they got a website with a bunch of crap on it too.
Incorrigibleparty.com?
Yeah, I think that's it.
What about merchandise?
Yeah, it's on the website.
What about NPCs and maps of Aspara?
Yeah, it's on the website.
What about information about giveaways and links to the episodes?
Yeah, it's all on the website.
What about a good shepherd's pie recipe?
There are no good shepherd's pie recipes.
Well, mayhaps their sponsor, Critical Hit Design, will have some.
Well, if you eat it, you'll have some happy adventuring.